Welcome to Impact Marketer from Klout Consulting. My name is Stephen Ladek, and I'm the Director of Growth here at Klout. Today's conversation on Impact Marketer focuses on a business called Obega Beauty, a dropshipping company that sells support bras for women. In this episode, Rony, Kevin, and I touch on topics around whether or not dropshipping is dead and how to do it right. We also talk about what business owners need to know about testing ads and when to stop testing and start producing. We talk about the dangers of being a one-product company and not focusing on customer lifetime value in your business. We talk about why you can never just set it and forget it with ad spend or with your business in general. And finally, we talk about how Klout approached scale and growth for this business and the lessons we learned from the engagement. But before we get started, a quick word from our sponsor.
Klout Consulting is the gold standard for e-commerce paid advertising. We help our clients scale and generate massive return through paid advertising platforms like Facebook and Instagram. For more information, visit kloutconsulting.com.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Pretty good.
All right.
Doing great.
Rony back in California. Kevin out of the closet somewhere. And I mean that in the best way. In the best way possible.
I appreciate it, Stephen.
Yeah, we are a supportive family here at Klout.
Our supportive family, absolutely, 100%.
Yes.
Gentlemen, today we're going to talk about a company called Obega Beauty. This is a client that we, came on about 3 months ago. Just call it out. I mean, it's a drop shipping company, back pain, health related product. Rony, why don't you give a little bit of background on it?
Sure. So, we had a company, Obega Beauty, come to us for some help. They had found a winning product through testing different products, and they needed help scaling to the next level. They were a team of 2 seasoned marketers that have been, doing paid ads for a number of years, and they just wanted really just, an arm to be like a marketing arm that they can delegate to and work on strategy with, and have, another part of their team kind of do the labor and manage the ads day to day.
How do you feel, overall is the drop shipping universe? I mean, that was huge 15 years ago, right? Huge 10 years ago. Is drop shipping still a thing? Do you have to really care? Like what's the difference between somebody who's a really successful drop shipper and somebody who is going to fail at the end of the day?
Sure. So drop shipping was a thing of the past, even if it wasn't as popular in the general domain, but it's also going to be here to stay. Actually, this mic I ordered from Dell, and they drop shipped it to me. It took 6 months to get here because of COVID, but companies have always been drop shipping, and they're going to continue to drop ship. I think the difference that makes a successful drop shipper, entrepreneur, whatever it is, at the end of the day, I think you're an entrepreneur if you get into this business and you start your own e-commerce brand. Is that realizing you are building a business and building a long-term asset. So that means reinvesting back into the business, maybe not taking out as much money, and really investing in the branding, the messaging, I think, and most importantly, the customer experience. And so, some dropshippers we've worked with, they've had like product issues and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, if you're not obsessed about the customer, then you're going to lose long-term.
That's a great message, right? Yeah. To get to be customer focused, no matter what you're in, even if you're not creating the product, if you're just really the marketing front, you still gotta care about who you're selling to. Kevin, where were they at when they joined us? What did the universe look like? What kind of return were they getting? What kind of product were they shipping and stuff?
Yeah. So where were they at when they pretty much met us? Not pretty much anywhere. They were either losing money or just having a 1x, so they were just breaking even, really. They were really spending money for no reason, just testing, and nothing seemed to work for them. And that's why they were seeking expert help. Now, I don't want to call myself an expert. Like, I know a thing about Facebook, but when we took over, they saw immediate results because they already spent a lot of money on the testing period, and I took all that data and I analyzed it. I saw what worked and what didn't. Made some small tweaks. Then that's when their performance just took off.
So what were kind of the key, fail points in their testing? Like I'd love to break that down just a little bit for 2 or 3 minutes. Like, I'm an entrepreneur. I found a product that I love, and I found a product that I think can really work in the market. what mistakes were they making in their testing that wouldn't allow them to determine either, hey, we're going to scale this, or here's where we need to pour the gas on, or that kind of thing? Where were the missing pieces?
Yeah, that's a very interesting, but also a very complex question. I feel like a lot of marketers that do by themselves, they go on YouTube, they search online of how to do Facebook marketing. If you go on YouTube and type that in, there's tons of videos on how to do it. And those don't really work because those are for the masses. And Facebook marketing isn't really for the masses. It's for people who know the algorithm, who knows what works and can apply it to any industry with small tweaks here and there. And what they were doing was they were basically like doing the step-by-step program that they probably saw online that another successful marketer did. But wherever that successful marketer did, couldn't really apply to them because they're such a niche product. You're selling bras for women that have back pain. Now,
Right.
you have to get super targeted with that. And if you're targeting way too broad, you're either leaving money on the table or at the same time wasting money as well.
Mm-hmm. Is there, Ronnie, going back to that sort of entrepreneurial question, is there unnecessary danger for an entrepreneur who's looking to be either a one-trick pony, so to speak? They basically had one product, whereas you see a lot of people come in and they've got a catalog, right? It's here's your dresses and your skirts and your boots and your whatever. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so I think it always depends on a few things. One, entrepreneurial preference. Do you want to scale vertically and go deep on a business or horizontally? And also, it depends on the nature of the business. If it's a product where they're going to come back and have repeat buyers, because you want to increase the customer lifetime value as much as possible. With them, it's broad. So as long as they focus on an amazing product as well as content marketing to stay top of mind and do promotions year round, they're going to increase the return customer rate, which is great for any business, so that you can, at scale, which we were trying to do for them aggressively. Even if you're close to break even on the first acquisition, you're going to make profit on the back end. So it really depends on your business model, what type of product you have, and what your goals are. But I think it's always a great idea to be able to increase customer lifetime value either through a future sale of the same product, bundling, and or cross-selling another part of the product line, which we were kind of talking about with Obega as well.
Okay, cool. Well, and so now, Kevin, take me in. What was our approach when we looked at their account? You kind of teased it out, a few minutes ago, but what did we do to start solving that problem, and how did we take them from guessing and from losing money to, I know what the account looked like. How do we start scaling them?
Yeah. So you really have to know what worked and what basically just did not work. They had a whole bunch of lookalike audience testing. Now, for those of you who don't know what lookalike is basically you telling Facebook to find more audiences like your current customers, and you tell Facebook with a email list or website visitors. And what they were doing, they were breaking out their customer audiences way too narrow and way too niche, and that didn't really work for them. So first you have to start broad, like past purchasers. Then I layered in with people who are interested in bras, but then layered in with people who are interested in bras. So think of like an onion, right? If you keep peeling the layers, then that's where you're gonna find your perfect niche.
Sorry, Kevin, to clarify, you said past purchasers layered with bras, and what was the third one? You said bras twice. I just want to clarify.
Oh, it was layered with people who had relevant searches for pain. So back pain, and shoulder pain. So any kind of pain. And Steven, you're muted.
Don't tell the host he's muted. No, it's fine. So once you layer that on, I think this is one of the things where a lot of clients sort of is like, so, hey, great, we kind of solved that problem, and we saw a turnaround with the account. Is that just sort of like, hey, look, great, set it and forget it, and it just kind of however much money you want to spend on it, or how much do you pay attention to that in order to continue to scale it?
Yeah, that's another good question too. So what kind of separates us from other agencies is that we don't really look at your marketing side of things like Facebook marketing. We also look at your website and how you can improve your conversion rate in your website. And their website, oh, man, if you go on their website, it's like, what the hell is going on? You wouldn't even know how to buy their product. So we went in, we made a few suggestions, like we told them to add PayPal Pay. We told them to change like small things around, like add to cart and buy it now, and to add those in, and that completely changed everything. So just small tweaks can have a huge effect on your sale process.
And so for those, it sounds like you offered more payment gateways, so people just had different ways to buy. What other ways can you suggest, maybe Ronnie, to make the sales process frictionless, right? Like you want to be able to click on an ad, come in, boom, buy. Like what other ways do they look at, or do we look at?
Yeah. So kind of building on to what Kevin said, you want to remove as many steps as possible. And of course, anything that we mention on this podcast are best practices, and they need to be tested. It's always going to vary by brand. And we can talk about split testing as well, but with them, they had a great landing page setup. They had 3 different bundles. I forgot the exact different bundles, but it was like, 1 bra, 3 bra set as the best seller, and then a 5 bra set. And I believe the audit, in terms of the audit that we gave them, was, when they clicked, there should be a buy now button to skip the add to cart completely. They click the buy and it goes straight to the checkout. Again, to eliminate as many steps to create a frictionless process as possible.
Super cool.
Then I want to add on to that. Yeah, then I want to add on to that. I had a very smart guy who's also an experienced marketer that told me that basically CRO, conversion rate optimization, is you have to think of things as like you're the herder and everybody that goes on your website is a sheep. So no offense if you are a sheep, but you have to guide them through the whole process, right? Think of everybody as mindless sheeps and just guide them through the whole process, and that's how you basically improve everything.
You just incited a sheep protest on the West Coast. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so curveball question for you, Ronnie, in that I know that this particular client was demanding, right? And they, not only were we growing their account in a way that we thought was substantial. I mean, we're talking 3.5x kind of growth over a 60-day, 90-day period. It was never good enough. Like where do we find the disconnects with the client in those places? Sure.
So I think, this is just a better communication channel when it comes to what are the goals. And to simplify the goals, you're either monetizing what's the current funnel that you have, increasing profitability, reinvesting, some of that cash flow into inventory, branding, whatever, or scaling, increasing new customer acquisition while sacrificing margin, because, just the size of the market. I think in most industries, like the more you spend into them, your cost per acquisition is going to go up. And so I think the request.
Explain that one to me, because most people would think it would be opposite. The more that you spend into a market, that your cost per acquisition go down because brand growth, brand recognition, those kinds of things. So why would it?
Sure. So for the viewers, there's a bell curve, right? You have the early adopters on the left side for everyone listening. Yeah. And then you have the bulk of your customers in the middle. And then on the right, you have the far right, you have, that farmer guy in China, the hardest part of the market to reach. And so basically the market is limited. So, of course it's going to depend on your channel and whatnot, but the more you spend into this, you're going to essentially exhaust the current time of market. And your costs are going to go up because it's going to be harder and harder for your ads to reach them and be delivered. So that's kind of what happens at scale.
So diminishing returns, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's harder to find the person. It costs more money, and you're still getting the same sale value, basically the same average order value from that person.
Exactly. And I bring up the goals part because, we should be able to go into different phases, 3 months of scaling, losing some margin, 3 months, maybe monetizing again, building up that margin to prepare for the next cycle, as well as let that time period kind of settle down. Because more people are always entering and leaving the market. And so that period is important. And that's kind of what you hire Klout to do, is to really manage those ebbs and flows of business, as well as communicate your profit goals so that we can hit them for you.
And kind of coming back to that lifetime value kind of piece, is this a lesson that we learned? Is this something we should have gone to Obega and said, hey, look, now's the right time to introduce, a companion product or, a consulting service or something else? Was that a missed opportunity for us, or was that something the client wasn't interested in? Or
Oh no, we definitely talked about it. I think before that point though, we should have agreed on a monetization period of, okay, cool, because there are very slim margins when we were scaling, right? We should have said, hey, cool, let's take a pause for 3 to 6 months, increase the remarketing ROAS, and then just capitalize on the profitability. And so that we're ready to either, again, reinvest back into more ads, more scaling, or new products, which would be, messaging, design, branding, and all of that.
Cool. Kevin, final question, take us out. What other critical wins and what other lessons did we learn with Obega?
Let's start with the wins. Wins. We were able to increase their month-over-month sales by over 30%. Now that might not sound by a lot, but we basically tripled their spend and we improved efficiencies by over 100%. So for example, they were at a 1x ROAS before us, and when we took them on, we tripled their spend and we ended with a 2x ROAS. So yep.
Nice.
And now with learnings, now I feel like this is kind of a common thing with our drop shippers. They want more yesterday, so they wanted to scale pretty quick. And for us, we know when it's the right time to scale and when it's not. So the learnings was that we just had to make sure that the client knew that it wasn't the right time to scale yet. We're the experts here. Just let us communicate when it's the right time. And if they were not willing to listen, then they should know the faults in that, basically.
Super cool. Rony, hey, you want to take us out on any super, drops of wisdom real quick?
Putting me on the spot there, buddy.
I mean, you are the founder. Come on.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Yes, I think I would love to just leave this episode with, again, if you can make decisions on a longer time horizon, 2, 5, 10, or as Shopify does, 100-year time horizons, you'll always win. And as long as you're, again, considering customer lifetime value and being customer centric, you'll always be able to spend more than your competitors and essentially outcompete all of them. So
with that said, thank you very much, gentlemen. Close it out for today. We'll see you next time on Impact Marketer. Hey there. If you like what you heard in this episode, please do me the favor of giving us a like, because it really does help. And of course, you can always subscribe to Impact Marketer so you never miss an episode. And finally, more importantly, if you'd like to get the type of results that we talk about on this show, drop us a line at kloutconsulting.com and we'd love to help you. Thanks.